I am just thrilled. I mean, it took me totally by surprise. Uh, I've been in the movie industry, you might say all my life. My father was a cinematographer, I grew up in it. And but to get this award is just really, really thrilling. Okay, we work with students in several ways. Number one, we like to work with, we do work very closely with AFI, American Film Institute, UCLA, USC, and Art Center. But we also work with many other schools by giving them instructions and showing them how to use the equipment. And when they do their projects, we actually rent the equipment to them at no charge. And we help them with that. That goes back to, my brother's deceased now. When we started at Clairmont Campus, my brother and I were partners. And he and I met, and met, talked, and said, hey, people helped us when we were young. It's our turn now to start helping people. And so we're very happy to do that.
In particular, visual effects intensive films, so films that are distributed across a number of facilities. More and more we're finding that productions are spreading themselves all around the globe to get the best deals or to get the best facilities to do the work they need to do. And CineSync's been able to facilitate the communication between those facilities better than anything else. I think the main things that we're seeing now are the tie-ins between different products. So as different tools all kind of dovetail into each other, that's really where the growth is happening. It's making tools work together rather than having a whole bunch of different tools that do different things. They start to feed into each other, and so the pipeline becomes much smoother, and so delivery becomes much faster.
Basically, it allows us to, any process that's put on the cube, we can analyze it, look at exactly what it's doing to our network, what sort of files it's opening, how much data it's reading, how much data it's writing, and then in real time basically analyze it to see what it's doing to our infrastructure.
Any task that uses a lot of, uses any actually amount of computer-generated imagery, anything from compositing, effect shots, lighting, character animation, even rotor paint can also benefit to a degree.
Feature animation, like Pixar does and some other big studios around the world, requires just a tremendous amount of computing power. And that's used in a variety of ways. Every time an artist says, go, I want to turn my 3D model into pixels, that's certainly a kind of rendering that uses the computer power. But also, every time we simulate an explosion or smoke or somebody's clothes moving in an animation, all that stuff requires some sort of computing. And of course, directors are never happy with last year's computing. They want to grow the computational power of their, we call them render farms in my business, these giant racks of machines that we keep around. And so controlling thousands of computers turns out to be a job unto itself. And so what I've been working on all these years is a way to let artists push a button, but then have their work find its way off onto these giant clusters of machines and then back to them with the results. And nothing ever works right the first time, so they need feedback about the errors and everything else. So it just is a natural outgrowth of needing all the compute power. Suddenly you need a way to manage it, and that's what we've been working on all this time. I think the rendering time itself is probably not affected very much. It's more about human time is the thing we're really trying to optimize, because all these talented people sitting around, you never want them to wait or be idle or be bored. And so what we really try and do is make it a quick turnaround from when the artist says, oh, I've changed the light or this character's pose. You want the feedback back to them as fast as possible. So you need the computation to run somewhere and for the results to come back to them. So it's really about optimizing the time of these great artists that we have, and not so much about the rendering time itself. They certainly were big users of the software, and they build their own system around it. So I always have to say, these guys at these studios around the world are astounding at plugging our software into their bigger pipeline of things. But they really do push everything through it on their way to the farm, and they grow bigger and bigger farms. And the idea is to scale up, so that these artists again have their stuff back to them as soon as possible. So it's awesome. It's good fun.